Honored to be here in your presence and grateful. Thank you. My name is Christi Kramer. I'm the daughter of Charlie and Tessie Kramer, the granddaughter of George and Jean Eddy and Charles and Danella Kramer, the student of Carolyn Forche, and with your permission, student of Dr. Leggo too. And I'm sorry I was a little bit late coming in. Sorry for myself because I didn't want to miss one drop. I was so blessed in the reading of your stories and hearing your voices there. It's a magnificent experience to hear your voices now. And again, I am honored in your presence. I'm glad I got to come in just for a second for Teresa Strong Wilson's, because I was hearing in her idea of thinking back through our mothers, a portal or a place to settle my own stories here, like Scott was just saying, a place of entry. And as Cynthia was saying, a way of carrying back. So the stories that I will share, I think, also from the first strand in here, arise from or are in a place of hummus, of particular earth, the way we know ourselves in and through place and earth. And also from, I am deeply in love with the landscape of my home. So these are poems about home, written over a span of 30 years, and these were brought together and then named in what I was understanding as a memoir through poetry, and named the Valley of Myrtle Creek Falls, named after a falls that was named after my great-grandma Myrtle McCall, where I'm from. It is that this hand reaching back, reaching forward, extends 200 years. My grandma was my first grade teacher. She taught generations. In her classroom, one could crawl up and sleep on the fire escape in the sun, light there more gentle than these determined knuckles backed into my mother's palm. Both hands concentric, pressing into wood and lead and word, our effort heats the pencil. This is what I smell. Some rhyme chiseled, burned into dream of waking, writ or stitched in the skin of my making. If I am to know the word, I must know world I've heard. In the valley where I was raised, in the lap of my grandmother, I learned to read. In grandma's garden, field, and kitchen, the world. Tradition may be rooted, tough, and learned. Wisdom may be light and hover. Certainly, it's near the smell of skin and extends beyond where our counting can. Barefoot. Witchcraft, it must be that what holds her to him. Waterfall splash and dazzle, somebody saw their shadow embrace at falls. What draws her there, through blackberry rip and thistle that walks her straight, must be how she wishes. Unnamed bush hangs sweet clusters and white petal, could be God. Not overlook foxglove to pick bouquet for mother. It is the wound, she knows she's wounded, that moves. Anything born wounds. What was it left her there? Meadow, large, lupin, huckleberry, spider, rose. Foot crunch, dry weed, grasshopper scatter. What blessing, this too hot sun, creek far. It's another that runs faster, cooler. Another weighted step. She checks, she's still. Blotched, betrothed, botched. A good woman spills none of the rice, laughs only when her heart's afire, looks you in the eyes. My grandmother in the 5th grade was expelled for having crossed her legs. Her mother, a good woman, is beautiful, loves well, tells those secrets to no one, sits quietly in the moon's swell. Great-grandmother Robinson with legs like heaven or fate died young. A good woman is a fine mother, rises early, works late, is not dizzy, does not tire, wears blue, makes one sweet-smelling, scrumptious cake. They say she had the flu, heard something like coughing from her bed. A good woman can fly if she wants to. Is careful when she stitches with red thread, or zips or buttons or holds like potato in her palm, the pulsing glob from beneath her rib. Great-grandmother Rivers was made to pay alms, jailed for hanging wash on Sunday, sin, another time for carrying a pot to a friend, ill, stew and bag balm. A good woman might dance, might drink a bit or not, loves wind. A good woman, a good girl, knows where to find the best in him. My mother says don't ask, don't mention it again, her mother's mother. The grass around her grave grows long, red, maroon, crimson. Says something else went on, gone wrong. Bachelor button, lily, iris, rose, and pearl. So it's a bit awkward for me in the reading because in truth, some of these poems I wrote in awkward places in my life. That one when I was quite young, and then this one when I was 11 or 12. Almost in the version it is now, but as all of our life is revision with some revision. Do we miss these things in heaven? Everything remembers. Wood remembers heat. Once it has been burned, charcoal keeps a glow secret. Trees remember water, call the rain down again, reach branches up and call. Earth remembers herself, opens up, rumbles, shakes, and pulls us all back in again. I remember in half-light and fever how her hair coiled round her head in a great gray braid forever. What I knew as sacred fell in waves. Aunt Mabel let her hair down, no ordinary visit. We talked like nothing was going on about beating, fishing, and cabbage, about swimming in the dark part of the lake late when everyone else thinks you're weeding the garden. Aunt Mabel stitched silk blocks, Grandma Gert knitted purses. They said they had come to take me to heaven. Oh, I told them, I decided a while ago I'd never go to heaven. It was when I was peeling the label off a sauerkraut jar, ran the water over it, over my fingers, enjoyed it all too much. It was then I thought aloud, I was done believing in heaven. Gert told the story of when we were huckleberry picking and how there was a baby alone crying in the back of a pickup about how everyone heard and no one did anything, until the dad came back. I remember she chased him, beat him on the head with her ironwood cane all the way to the bottom of the hill. At noon, the sky remembers the stars, the place they hold at night. If we ever feel sorry in our longing, we must remember that the moon was once part of the sun, once part of the earth. Have you ever stood looking at something you love but cannot touch forever? I said I was done believing in heaven. Aunt Mabel reached up inside me, took out the baby, already dead, wrapped her in a silk block quilt, paid me with 3 pieces of licorice from Gert's purse, carried the baby, and closed the door behind them. Remember how the rain feels on the skin, or how it is to float just under the surface, how water holds us, how we hear what is beneath us only, or how the fire burns if we touch.